Hello and welcome to another Shadowshaper Duels video. In today's video, I'm just going to be discussing the cards that Ming currently has for sale on the EMEA server. Just as a reminder, it seems that what cards he is selling differs per server, so I am only able to show what he has for EMEA. I don't know about the other regions. And also, there is a chance that after the maintenance on Thursday, if there is one, his stock might change. That has happened sometimes in the past. So if there is something here you want to buy, I would suggest buying it now rather than waiting till later in the week, just in case it changes. My recommendation is always to just buy everything if you have the tokens to spend on it, because you don't know when it will next be available. However, in case you are short on tokens, I will just give a quick recommendation of what I think you should buy that he is selling. First of all, he is now selling Hell Heist. The first time this card has been available for sale, it was only added last week. It's a new exotic card, and its effect is that when played on the back row, it has a sustained attack where it deals 1 damage to 1 random opposing unit and the units to its left and right, and it also gains power based on the damage dealt. So there's quite a lot to break down there. First of all, it is essentially like the Scorpius turret or the Elite Walker, in it being a sustained attacking effect. Now you can only play it on round 5, but that still means you can get 2 rounds out of it. And although it might not sound like the damage it deals is a lot, that is up to 3 damage per round. If it attacks 3 different units, it will damage 1 and the left and the right, sort of like how Gwyn does, or some of the Cabal Gladiators. So, it can hit 3 different targets, so that is 3 damage. And also, Hell Heist can be buffed by things like a Servitor or a Yumiko. So when you start combining those factors together, Hell Heist plus some other damage buff effects, this card can actually reach quite a lot of health, depending on, how much damage you deal. I've been using it quite a lot since I bought it earlier today. It's basically replaced Gwyn in my deck, because it's just a sustained attacking effect that is, almost as good. It doesn't do necessarily as much damage as Gwyn does in terms of single attack, but it has the added bonus of gaining health as well, whereas Gwyn loses health. So I would definitely recommend picking up Hell Heist. It's a very interesting card, and I think quite strong. Taking a look at some of the other cards that are available, there are 3 Cabal cards. There is the Centurion, which is for a Cabal line build. One of the better line cards, only 2 energy, and it grants power to the units on the left and the right. It does need a 4 line, but I do have 2 of these in my line deck. So it's probably one of the staple cards to have in a line deck. Then you also have the Cabal Incinerator. This isn't specific to either line or column, it's just a Cabal attacking card that deals 3 damage, but it can only attack the front row. It's still not a bad effect though for only a 2 energy cost card. There were usually some cards in your opponent's front row you could attack. Now we also have another card, which I believe this is the first time it has been available for sale, which is the Shinka Scorpius. It's another line unit card. This one needs a 3 unit line, and at the end of your turn it deals 2 damage to a random opposing unit. So the main difference between this and the other Scorpius turret is that this deals 2 damage, whereas the regular legendary Scorpius deals 1. This obviously has more health, but it does have the requirement of being in a 3 unit line. But that also means it counts as a line card towards other line units you may also have in your deck. So if you are running a line deck, I would certainly recommend putting one of these in. You could still also have other non-Scorpius turrets as well. Non-line Scorpius turrets, the other legendary ones. But I would say it's worth including one of these to have a line attacking option. You then have the Cursed Thrall. This is probably one of the cards you could pass on if you're short on turrets. I don't really like cards like this, but essentially it just moves to your opponent's front row, and then at the beginning of the next turn it explodes, dealing 2 damage to the units on the left and the right. It's just the high version of the exploding shank. So unless you like that type of gameplay, I don't, I wouldn't really say you need to pick this up. And then finally we have a Fallen mythic card, the Elite Walker. which I did mention earlier when talking about Hell Heist. This is another sustained attacking option. It has to be played on the back row, and it deals 2 damage to 2 random opposing units. And obviously, you can play this on round 4, so that's a potential 3 rounds worth of attacks you could get out of this. The only real downside to the Walker is it doesn't have a lot of health, and because it is a very strong attacking option, your opponents will usually target it either with their attacking cards or maybe even a Wu Ming to suppress it. But if they don't have something like that, it can deal a lot of damage. So yeah, they are the cards available for sale. I would definitely recommend pick up Hell Heist, just because it's an exotic card and so you don't know when she will next be available for sale. I will now also just close out this video with a very small piece of gameplay from one of my games using her. It's not the full match. We just start at round 5 when I'm able to play her, just so you can see her effect. It's actually quite funny gameplay because both me and my opponent play the exact same cards on round 5 and 6, and you can see we are both trying to buff Hell Heist with a Yumiko. Not that it's successful, but still, yeah, you can see how she behaves during that gameplay.